Hey, this is Adam from Figmatic, and today I'm going to be showing you how to compare your designs in Figma with a web build implementation that you've created in the Webflow service. So the first thing we need to do is install a plugin called Pixelay, and if you haven't already done so, you can go to the top toolbar and click on the little Figma icon, go down to Community, and then click on the search bar and type in the word Pixelay. So that's Pixelay. And you'll see a little result come up saying Pixelay development comparison. And what you want to do is click on the little install button on the right hand side, and then just click install plugin, and that will change it to say installed with a little checkbox. So once you've done that, you're ready to go, and you can swap back into your Figma file with your own designs in it, and we can get started. So in this case, I'm just using an existing design from the Webflow website. And to compare this with the development build inside of Webflow, we just need to run the Pixelay plugin first. So what we can do is we can right-click anywhere, go down to plugins, and then go down to Pixelay development comparison and click on that. And that's just going to fire up the plugin we just installed. Okay, so once that loads, you'll see that we've got a few things, a text input up the top, these two frames here, which are mirroring the two frames that I've got in my Figma design. So I've got the small frame and the large frame. And you can also see that the button is grayed out, and it's grayed out because we need to put in a URL for this to point to, and the URL that we put in here will be the URL that the designs get compared to, so we can check if the original designs are matching up with the development implementation. Typically that would be a localhost URL. This is designed to be really good with localhost or local development environments. But if we do try and do a Webflow URL, so I've just put in a demo Webflow URL in there, and then I'm just selecting both of my frames to be compared. And then I click on compare two designs. What this is doing is it's just taking these two frames, uploading them, and it's going to give me a URL in a moment that I can use. So the Pixelay comparison page is ready, and to compare these designs we need to open this link in our browser. And so I can either click on this to copy the URL, or I can just click on the open the link here. Okay, so this is loading up the Pixelay web app, and you can see here immediately that something has gone wrong. You can see that we've got our Figma design. We can see the Figma design just fine, but we can't see our web build that we were after. So if I just move these controls up a little bit. So if I click on the Figma mode, which reveals just the original Figma files that we're comparing, then if I click on the development mode, you can see we've got this very unhappy face here. And the reason for that is we're basically loading these URLs in iframes, and because we're trying to load it in from the Webflow domain, Webflow has a security policy set which does not allow you to embed their iframes on external websites. And they have a number of reasons for this. I believe one of them is they just don't want people to embed iframes on a custom domain without kind of paying for a plan. That's potentially one. And there might be some other reasons as well. So the bottom line is we unfortunately can't load in URLs directly from Webflow, but there is a workaround that I'm going to show you right now. So I'm just going to close out of this and close out of Pixelay. So I'm going to go to the Webflow site. So underneath Webflow, in the Webflow University section, which is kind of like their tutorials, there's a tutorial called Code Export. So if you search for that, or just go to the URL university.webflow.com/article/exporting a site from Webflow with hyphens in between it. this is going to take you to a page which will explain how you can export the HTML, CSS, images, and JavaScript from your Webflow project. And just be mindful that this is only available as a feature on paid Webflow plans. So if you don't have a paid Webflow plan and want to do this, you will have to upgrade before you can do it. So what this is going to do is it's going to let you export your code from Webflow, and it's going to let you download it all to your computer. So the steps for that are you basically just open up your Webflow project. There's an export button in the top right corner. And so in this little video here, it's got the export button. So you click on export code. And then in the bottom right, there's a button that says prepare zip. And if you click on that, it will download a zip file to your computer with all of the code for your Webflow website. So I've got one on my desktop that I've downloaded from Webflow as a sample. So it'll look something like this. It'll just be a zip file. And I'm just going to double click on the zip file. And that's going to give me this file here. So I can see I've got my CSS, I've got my images, I've got my HTML, and I've got my JavaScript. Okay, so that's great. That's exactly what we want. So what we're going to do now is if you open up a code editor, so I'm just opening Visual Studio Code, and I'm going to drag the folder that we just unzipped into Visual Studio. And that's going to give me a list of all the files that we've got here. So we've got all the CSS, images, JavaScript, and index file. So what we want to do is we want to start a browser sync server. And browser sync is a tool that allows you to synchronize your browser across multiple pages from some source code that you've got. So in this case, if we run browser sync, we'll be able to run a little local server, and any changes that we make to our CSS or our index.html or our images, they will all be reflected in the browser across multiple pages at the same time. So to do this, we can just click on the Get Started button on the browser sync homepage, which is just browsersync.io. And if you click on Get Started, it'll just give you the 3 points that you need. It's a very simple installation. The first thing you'll need is to have Node.js installed, which you may or may not already have. They've got a link here for the installers if you need to install Node first. And then after you've done that, you can copy the command from the second point, which is to install browser sync. And so if you copy that command and go back to your Visual Studio Code editor, if you haven't already got a terminal open, you can open it by going to the top toolbar and clicking on Terminal, and then clicking on New Terminal. So in our terminal, we just want to paste in the command npm install -g browser sync. And this is going to install browser sync globally, so it means we can run it on any of our projects now and in the future. So we'll just wait for that to finish up. Browser sync is finished installing now. And to start browser sync, we can use the command from point 3, which is the final point. So there's this command here, which is going to start a mini server and provide a URL to view our website. So I'm just going to paste that in to my terminal here and hit enter. And you can see it's really quickly spun up a server for us. In the terminal, it's telling us what the URL is, so we can access that, but it also just spun it up and opened it up in the browser for me immediately anyway. So we can definitely see that it's working, and this is all content, all HTML that we'd expect. Okay, so now you can see in the URL bar, we've got this little URL, localhost port 3000, and that means that it's running on our machine, it's running on our computer, and it's completely outside of Webflow, but we have access to this. And the other cool thing is, now that we've got this running, we can actually go into our CSS and we can start changing things if we need to in here. So we can change the font size, and immediately you can see that bump up. If I make it something ridiculous, that will bump up there. And I'm not having to refresh the browser. It's just instantly doing that for me, and that's really neat. So yeah, that's kind of cool, and we'll show you what that means in a moment, because we're going to go back into Figma now. So what you want to do is you want to get this URL here. So just select that or copy and paste it from your terminal, or just memorize it. So it's http://localhost port 3000. So if we jump back into Figma, we'll close off Pixelay and give it a restart. And the easiest way to restart it, once you've already run it once in your page, is just to go to the right-hand column here and click on the Pixelay icon, and that will fire up the plugin again without having to open up the menu. Okay, so once this loads up, we're just going to change the URL that it's saved in there for us. So we're going to get rid of that. And instead, I'm going to paste in the URL that I just copied from the terminal. And that is http localhost 3000. And these two have already inherited it, so you don't have to override it. If you have multiple pages, in this case, I'm just doing the one page, but if you have, an about page and a projects page and a contact page, what you can do is you can paste in the main URL and then add in your extra details at the end. So if this was a contact page, I could do /contact.html. If this one was about, I could do about. So you can kind of figure out what those URLs are if you do have more URLs. But in this case, I'm just going to leave it as the default and inherit the global URL, because we're just comparing the one page for now. Okay, so now that I've got that in there, I can click on my Compare Designs button once again. And again, this is just going to quickly upload those images and generate a URL for us, which is actually the same URL as before, but it's just been updated with those new URLs, the localhost URLs. So I'm just going to click open the link again. And this time it's loading up the web app, and it's going to be looking for different URLs. So you can see here, instead it's pointing to localhost 3000 instead of pointing to the other URL that we expected from Webflow. So you can see here, if I change the opacity, you can see that the heading size is different from the one in the design. So we've got the Figma design, and then we've got the build, and you can see some differences there. And in terms of the dev build and the design for the smaller screen, again, the heading is quite different. So what we can do is, now that we've got localhost running, we can jump into Visual Studio, and we can start kind of playing around with some of these things. So as we had in here before, this kind of font size issue, we can tweak that, and you'll see it immediately change on the left here. So we can play around with that until it's closer to what we actually expected it to be. And that's going to let us do it really quickly. So there we go. That's exactly the font size. We can see that it's matching up now. There's no difference at all there. And it's fixed it on the mobile one too. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, so if we made that huge again, you can see it updates straight away, and we can see there's something clearly off there. And of course, you can use different methods to compare these two as well. So this is the split screen method. We've got the contrast diff method, which can be good for really small differences as well. And then we've also got the overlay mode. So if you know that there's something off, you can kind of line up the designs to line up the parts that work, and then that'll help you get an idea of where things are getting messed up. So in this case, it's obviously that heading again that we want to fix. And yeah, you can just kind of move that around. You can also use the pixel measuring tool. So this will give you an idea of if you've got spacing differences, you can get an idea of how big those differences are, which can be really handy, especially for things with crazy margins or kind of really specific sizing and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, and then the opacity one is probably the most common, where you can just kind of go back and forth on the opacity and play around with that. So I'm just going to revert that back, and that's the perfect version that we're after. So that's size 58, and yeah. So that's the way that you can actually get your Webflow builds inside of Pixelay. I know it's a little bit of a workaround. Unfortunately, there's just no way to get around the iframe content blocking issue. And yeah, the ideal scenario is really to somehow get your web builds into a local environment, because it just makes the iteration speed so much quicker, as you can see here. So yeah, I hope that that's been helpful for anyone who's wondering how to compare the Figma designs that they've got with a Webflow implementation. I know that it can be tricky to do it across multiple pages. So I hope that this kind of minor inconvenience can help you at least get to the point where you can start making these changes like this. And then once you've made those changes, you should be able to then put those back into Webflow as well. And if you need to deploy it there, or if you're deploying this code to a separate service like a Netlify or a S3 bucket or something like that, then you can pretty much just deploy this folder straight to that, and that'll work just fine. So yeah, that's it. If you need to revisit this link, you can keep going back to it. Once you've uploaded the designs once and pointed to the right URLs, this link is reusable, so you can just go back into the browser and use that again if you need to. But yeah, feel free to experiment with it, and I hope that it works out for you. All right, so until the next time with some more tutorials, that's going to be it for today. And I hope you've learned something that you can take away for your team, or to help out with your own workflows with comparing Figma designs to Webflow builds. So thank you as always for watching, and we'll speak to you soon.